As a law of nature, fire is the forerunner of great disasters. The fires in different parts of Russia in recent days give us different news. Especially the fire in Crimea, which is the last point of the war, can completely change the course of the war. Russia's Black Sea Fleet headquarters is in flames. Putin is helplessly just watching the fire. Moreover, this is not the first fire on the Russian side. Black smoke seems to be concentrated over the Kremlin Palace. Simultaneous fires in many strategically important parts of the country bring different questions to mind. By whom and what purpose are these fires in different parts of Russia? Could the Russian oligarchs who are preparing for the post-Putin period have an effect on the fires? Is this fire in Crimea a revenge for the Turkish ship, which was shot down by Russian troops in the past days? Let's look for answers to all these questions together. In recent days, the Ukrainian President Zelensky has directed public attention to a different point with his words. The war must end with the liberation of Crimea. Crimea, which has a strategic importance, is of vital importance for Russia. The Russian army's missile attacks were planned at the barracks in the port city of Sevastopol. Ukrainian army units targeted this headquarters. With a successful operation, there was a huge explosion at the Russian headquarters. According to the first determinations, 8 people died in the headquarters of 185 people who caught fire with the explosion. This news had a shock effect on the Kremlin Palace. Russian government officials were dragged into a different panic after this attack. After Russia annexed Crimea in 2014, the demographic structure of the region had changed considerably. This demographic structure may change again with the Ukrainian army taking back Crimea. This situation makes the Russian authorities very worried. The claim that Ukraine carried out the attack on Russia's Black Sea Fleet headquarters with the help of Tatar Turks has started to be voiced loudly on the Russian front. This situation may cause a domino effect. Russia may even be dragged into a huge collapse with this attack. The Russian people see Putin as the only responsible for this fire. The statement made by the Russian Investigation Committee regarding the fire made Russia ridiculous in the international public opinion. It was stated by the Russian Investigation Committee officials that this fire, which rendered the headquarters unusable with a violent explosion, was caused by an electrical device. The Russian people, who are going through very difficult economic times, do not believe the statement made by the government officials. Leader Putin's authoritarian behavior, instant decisions, distorted statements about the war brought the people to the point of rebellion. Anti-war youth who do not want to be conscripted are openly showing their reaction. The largest military registration and recruitment office in Bratsk, Russia, was set on fire by anti-war youth. Soldiers who are tired of fighting on different fronts for about a year are experiencing psychological traumas. This situation makes it difficult to maintain discipline in military units. Some soldiers who are tired of fighting even set fire to the tents where they stay. According to the report shared with the public by the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense recently, hundreds of planes and helicopters, thousands of tanks and armored vehicles, artillery systems and drones belonging to the Russian army have been destroyed since the first day of the war. These losses, which mean billions of dollars, almost collapsed the Russian economy. The fire that broke out at 6 a.m. close to working hours in Megahimki, which is expressed as the largest shopping center in Russia, brought the wheels of the economy to a standstill. The fire, which the Russian fire brigade could hardly extinguish, left ashes flying in the skies of Moscow. The question, so who started this fire and for what purpose, is answered in the minds of the Russian people as oligarchs. Many oligarchs who foresee Putin's loss and prepare for the post-Putin era are in conflict with each other. The Russian government, which is economically dependent on the oligarchs, cannot intervene in the conflicts. This situation causes a great reaction among the public. These reactions, which create an intense psychological pressure on Putin, distract him from making healthy decisions. The war plans made at the table lead Russia to greater failures. Finally, Putin's preference for the Wagner mercenary group for the Soledar invasion resulted in a great defeat. Prigozhin, the director of the Wagner mercenary group, who fell into the trap of the Ukrainian army in Soledar and declared an early victory, was denied by the Ukrainian army with different images published shortly afterwards. The corridors of the Kremlin Palace, which cries of joy were heard, fell silent after the images shared with the world public by the Ukrainian army. This led to a deep crisis between Putin and Prigozhin, who was once known as Putin's chief of staff. Immediately after the Soledar defeat, Putin dismissed Sergei Surovikin, whom he had appointed as the commander in charge of the occupation of Ukraine, upon Prigozhin's request. Another important development that deepened the crisis was a major fire in a warehouse in St. Petersburg. This warehouse, allegedly belonging to the Wagner mercenary company, allegedly contained a large number of military ammunition. At a difficult time when the Russian army was suffering from a shortage of military ammunition, how the Wagner group had a warehouse full of ammunition and why it was hidden had a wide resonance in the Russian media. According to the allegations in the Russian media, Sergei Surovikin delivered new ammunition belonging to the Russian army to the Wagner mercenary group. The veracity of the allegation that the Wagner Group, a private organization, supplied weapons and ammunition from the army unregistered, was revealed by the fire in the warehouse in the city of St. Petersburg. Prigozhin, the owner of the Wagner mercenary group company, which was put on the back burner by Putin, is trying to attract Chechens loyal to Kadyrov. The Wagner Group, which is not accepted by the Russian army, and the Chechens seem to be united at a common point. Both groups, who want to have a say in the post-Putin period, have started to openly criticize the Russian army. It seems that the arrows of criticism will be directed towards Putin very soon. It is not known what Putin will do in the face of all these developments. News started to appear in the Russian media that Putin will not be a candidate in the 2024 presidential elections. If such a possibility is realized, different scenarios for Putin may come to life. At best, Russian leader Vladimir Putin can continue his life as a retired president. In the worst-case scenario, Putin may be prosecuted for the situation that he has brought his country down. He may even go to prison. As the Russian-Ukrainian war continues in full force, the circle of fire is narrowing for Putin. Will Putin be able to extinguish this ring of fire surrounding him? Will the Ukrainian army's plan to retake Crimea succeed? How long will the alliance between the Wagner Group and the Chechens last? We are investigating the answers to all these questions. We follow the traces of accurate journalism with your guidance. Stay tuned.